You cannot have strippers on stage performing without an age restriction. And that's what Sam Smith is doing. Sam Smith is being a stripper on stage whilst performing a song. So that makes a difference. Because he's singing a song, because they are singing a song, that makes a difference to a stripper. That makes a difference.
I feel very sorry for your children.
I only have one that I know of. I feel sorry for the other ones as well. Welcome to the Showbiz Showdown with me, JJ Anisiøbi. This is the only show on TalkTV where I go head to head over one big issue from the world of entertainment. And today's question, is it time Sam Smith got banned from performing all-age gigs? Obviously, the answer is a clear yes. He's satanic. I find his performances a bit perverted. He's letting children go to his concerts. It's overly sexual. But to make this show work and to have some balance, I've invited my good friend, comedian, podcaster, James Barr. Hello, James.
You say good friend, but I won't be returning the compliment. Why don't you just go back to clutching your pearls, move back to Brexit town in the middle of nowhere? What are you talking about?
Hello. I sound like a Bond girl, by the way. Hello, James.
You sound like a Bond girl.
Yeah, I love
the worst Bond girl ever.
Well, in a foreplay, James, why do you think that Sam Smith should not?
It's ludicrous to say that this show is satanic. It's absolutely crazy. Have you not seen the arguments of the past? No. Like Elvis was blocked from shaking his hips around because it was satanic. And that was like 50,
wrong.
60, 70, 80 years ago. I don't even care. They were wrong, yeah. And you're wrong about this. History will prove you wrong. You're on the wrong side of history here.
No, see, I'm a good Catholic boy.
Oh, great. Good for you.
And when I was taught about the devil in school, it was literally the horns. Sam Smith wore horns on stage.
Right.
It was the flames of hell coming up. Oh, my goodness. Sam Smith's wearing horns.
But you know all of that's not real.
And a pitchfork.
But you know that's not real.
And not only, he's doing this. He's grinding against pitchforks.
Also, you know Jesus wasn't white, right? Like, I mean,
yeah,
you're claiming the fires of hell are
Jesus
real.
Was Japanese, we know that. That's
right,
fine. That's
okay.
been proven. But
whatever you want to believe, your faith is your faith. But no one knows that hell is full of fire or that imagery is satanic.
We all know that he is using satanic imagery.
They are using.
You all know they, forgive me, they are using satanic imagery. We know that's what they are doing. And I think that is definitely a red flag.
Right. Well, if we're going to talk about
Catholicism.
Thank you. If we're going to talk about Catholicism, let's just quote the Pope here on sexuality, because the Pope says in a documentary that recently came out, all persons are the children of God, but then quizzed about sexuality, the Pope said, sex is one of the beautiful things that God has given humans. To express yourself sexually is richness. So anything that detracts from real sexual expression lessens you and depletes this richness. So why do you think what Sam Smith is doing on stage is satanic?
Because
maybe they're just expressing themselves, and if the Pope's okay with that, you, as a Catholic, should probably be okay with it too.
I'm not sure the old guy in a dress is okay with it, to be honest, mate.
Great that you pointed out he wears a dress. I'm glad you did point that out, because sexuality is an expression, and so is gender.
I don't think the Pope, when he made that statement, was thinking about Sam Smith being on stage, dancing around with scantily clad men, touching each other, and having the whole devil thing.
Well, I bet the Pope wishes he was thinking about that.
I can't argue with that. But listen, seriously, Sam Smith's on stage wearing black underwear, fishnet tights, black boots, okay, but devil horns, pitchforks. People who went to the concert themselves said it was filled with sexual references, fetish gear, and an imitation of sex acts. Now, I'm saying, in line with the Pope, do what you want behind closed doors, express yourself sexually, but don't put that onto a stage and invite people to come and watch you do that without prior warning. And this is why I think they should be banned from performing.
So do you also think that Miley Cyrus should have been banned from performing? Because saying they should be banned from performing is a pretty wild statement. Do you think Miley Cyrus should be banned for twerking? Do you think she should never be allowed to perform because of that?
I think.
What about Christina? What about Britney, who had her midriff out and everyone was shook and furious about it? Like, what are you talking about, really?
I
it's
think
just the only difference between Madonna being sexual on stage and Sam Smith is that Sam Smith is perhaps more male-looking than you feel comfortable with.
No. Here's the thing. Miley Cyrus and Madonna, they were putting on concerts and performances that people knew what they were getting.
People know what they're getting from Sam Smith.
They do now.
Have you not seen the Unholy video that's been out for nearly a year at this point?
Yeah, I've seen the Unholy video.
So of course people know what they're getting from Sam Smith.
No one was expecting that at the concert.
Yes, they were.
What they should have had is a trigger warning at the very least. A trigger warning to say, if I go to watch an 18...
Why do you have to be such a snowflake? What do you need a trigger warning for? Because you can't just decide you're right wing and then swing the other way and be
that's what I do.
snowflake.
That's
what
I do.
JJ.
No. If you're going to watch a film that is got violence and sex and nudity and swearing in, that film is rated 18.
Or
that
a
should be
12A,
the same.
and
Or
then
a
the
12A.
parent would decide whether it's okay for them to go to it.
Yes.
But parents should be making that decision regardless.
There was no warning. Now parents have seen what's happened at the concerts. I think they'll change their mind because look, we had a 5-year-old.
What did they expect?
What did they expect? I don't know. Someone sat there doing a few ballads
No, if you
about
want that, you
love.
go to see Ed Sheeran, okay?
No.
If you want, like, bland
Okay.
and bless Ed Sheeran, love you. But if that's what you want, you go and see Ed Sheeran.
I'll tell you what, look, let's do a bit of role play. Sam Smith likes doing role play. Let's do some role play here. Let's pretend.
I'm not sure that's role play. I think that's just expression, actually.
No,
but...
it's definitely role play. Let's pretend that I'm a father of a 5-year-old.
Right.
And you are my son's godfather.
Okay.
James, I've got to go to work.
This is a bit of a stretch.
I've got to go to work this evening, James. Can you look after my 5-year-old for the next 12 hours?
Right.
You say, yes.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, stick to the script. So then I say to you, wait, there's a brothel near your house. You're not going to take my 5-year-old. You're not going to take my 5-year-old to the brothel, are you? And you'd say,
Sam Smith's show is not a brothel.
no, you're right. That's unfair because a brothel is actually full of illegal activity. Sam Smith's concert is not illegal.
It's full of people that actually should be. Look, we're not talking about brothels.
No, okay,
but I do resent your claim that it's full of illegal activity.
Now let's say a brothel.
Yeah,
of course
I
it
do.
Of course it is. That's a different argument.
No,
okay,
it is a different argument.
well,
But
what
don't
about
disrespect sex
well,
workers like that.
What about a strip club? Would you take my 5-year-old to a strip club?
It's different.
Why is it different?
Because
in a strip club,
is
women,
a strip club.
women can be in there.
Also, they wouldn't be allowed in there anyway because there'd be an age restriction.
Exactly.
Now, here's a question to
and
you.
there should be an age restriction on
no,
Sam Smith.
No, there shouldn't.
Why not?
Why should there be?
Sam Smith is performing
If you
the
want
same.
an age restriction on Sam Smith, you want an age restriction on Adele for swearing throughout her entire concert. Are you going to slap an age restriction on Adele?
Yeah, there should be. If she's swearing throughout it, Sam Smith is performing.
But you're not sat here doing a debate about that,
Sam
are you?
Smith is performing in their underwear, topless, and in
So?
concerts, the same way that happens in strip clubs.
Lady Gaga did similar on X Factor.
Was Lady Gaga topless?
Lady Gaga's wearing.
She's wearing a bra.
So
Sam
she's wearing a
Smith was
shell
topless.
bra, but whatever. Like,
So what? So that's fine.
Sam
so she's
hasn't
covered.
got their tits out, okay? Sam has
well,
got...
actually, Sam does have their tits out quite
So
clearly.
what?
We've seen
You're
the
probably
images.
sat at home with your tits out on the sofa whilst your 3-year-old
Excuse
son's
me,
wandering around.
these are
but
not
that's not
tits.
sexual, is it? It's only sexual to you.
It's not
But
sexual
it's not
because
sexual to your
I'm not
3-year-old.
doing this and gyrating on stage against a
I
pitchfork.
think it's you with the problem.
Sam Smith is performing the same way that strippers perform, in their pants, in latex boots, and in fishnet tights, topless.
You can say that
strippers,
about...
No, but strippers do that, and for that reason, there is an age restriction on people who can go and watch strippers.
I'm going to go back
There
to
is
my
no age
Elvis point.
restriction
You
on
could go back to
performing that on stage, though.
I'm going to go back to my Elvis point. You could say that about Elvis. Elvis is wandering around like a stripper, throwing his hips about.
No, he's not.
Yes, he was throwing his
No,
hips about.
yeah,
And
yes,
people would have
he
said
was throwing his
exactly
hips
the
around,
same
but
thing.
that was not the same as
They would have
stripping.
said it was satanic. It was
Elvis
what
was
you would
fully
see.
clothed.
People would have said the same thing.
I believe what I'm saying. I think there should be, at the very least, if we're not going to ban Sam Smith from performing, then at the very least, because Sam Smith does make bangers. He does make some bangers.
They make bangers.
Good grief, it's so hard to keep up. Sam Smith does make bangers. But if we're having to talk about what they are wearing and their overly sexualization, and 5-year-olds going there and copying their dance moves, and then probably copying their actions and copying
But you
how they
must
dress.
dance like... How do you dance at home with your son? Right.
Like
I mean,
Carlton
some
from
could say that's
Fresh
sexual.
Prince.
Yeah, I would call that pretty sexual, to be honest.
You're easy to please, James.
Now that I do agree with.
So can we agree that we should have an age restriction at least?
I don't think so. Not unless you're slapping age restrictions on Adele and other performers.
I'd put an age restriction on Lizzo. I think she's the most comparable recent artist we have to Sam Smith.
Right.
In terms of she's very, very curvy. She wears very little on stage, but she never goes topless.
Wait, so you would put an age restriction on Lizzo?
I think for Lizzo, I'd say you must be 8 years old and plus to go
oh
and
my
see
God.
Lizzo.
That is just crazy.
If you're on stage jumping around,
it's your
gyrating,
decision as a parent.
yes,
It's your
but
decision.
there should be a guidance for some parents, because some parents obviously aren't good parents. Like the woman who took her kid to see Sam Smith and then says to Sam Smith afterwards, she copies all your moves.
What's wrong with that?
Because she's 5 years old.
The parent.
I want my 5-year-old twerking.
The parent you're talking about hasn't raised a problem with that. It's only right-wing Twitter idiots that are raising an issue with the fact that the parent said that. The parent probably didn't even care. The parent loves that the child
the parent doesn't care.
imitates
That doesn't
Sam
mean
Smith.
it's okay.
What?
Let me clutch my pearls one more
so
time.
wait, now you're telling other parents what's okay and what isn't okay? So,
Yes,
okay, fine.
that's what we do.
Okay, cool. Great. Go ahead then. You're being so like snowflake and woke.
Oh my gosh.
It's
I got
crazy.
called a snowflake by James
a few
Barr.
times actually.
Wow.
And I'm the wokey. So live your life if that's what you want to do. But I do think
we need guidance. Parents need guidance, and there needs to be rules put into place to protect the kids, because not all parents make
not
good
the
choices.
protect the kids
We
argument.
must protect the children.
This is nonsense.
This is not nonsense. No,
It
it's not.
is nonsense.
Why don't you care about children?
Oh
James?
my God.
Why don't you care about our kids?
I care. I have nieces. I love them.
You're my son's godfather. Why don't you care about him? Protect
You're
him.
being ridiculous. Protect your own kids from your crazy right-wing views.
Right-wing views.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we were going to agree on something.
You
for a
thought
change.
you thought you were going to win this hands down,
thought,
and you
well.
haven't.
Well, let's let you, the viewer, decide. Leave your comments below and tell us what you think. Should Sam Smith be banned from performing, or at the very least have an age restriction and a trigger warning saying, beware, what you're about to witness is Satanism. Thank you for watching. Comment, like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all that TalkTV is doing on YouTube. See you next time.
Hilarious.